Hang up.
Welcome to the Finished Business Podcast. I'm your host, at Nick McQuain, at Twitter, my Twitter handle. This is Brad.
Hi.
And Lance the Vegan.
Here I am. What's up, guys?
We have mics now.
Look at us go.
Oh, yeah.
Pretty much the best in the world.
Official.
Official. All right.
So today's topic, we're going to hit on for a second, is
Nice.
today's topic that we want to talk about at first is gaps in panels on cars, the tolerances, and this mainly has to do with Tesla. And Tesla had
This has been in the news lately.
it's been in the news lately. Yeah,
Right. This is our news segment, right?
yeah.
All
Current
right.
events.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I guess that. It's my understanding is Tesla's early models were sending out a bunch of cars and the door panels wouldn't line up with the actual trim of the car. Inside the dash, some of the leather wouldn't line up, and people just kind of let it slide for a little bit. But now I think people are trying to find dirt on Tesla and just trying to throw dirt.
Well, there's some bad press on Tesla right now. I mean, isn't Tesla like trying to I don't know, their board of directors meeting or whatever's trying to vote old Muskie off the board?
Yeah, trying to get him out.
Like, he's like the savior of the United States of America. You can't vote that guy off the board.
And he has a lot of his own money invested into it.
Yeah.
I think would they have to sell his share or something?
I have no
Or can
idea.
you just kick him out?
Well, it depends on how their business is set up.
I'm pretty sure Tesla's publicly traded. So.
If it's publicly traded, then I think he would have to sell off all of his shares.
Yeah, I'm not too well read on that.
If he's an owner of it anyway. If he's just on the board and like it's just publicly traded and he doesn't own any shares and he's just on the board, then they can just kick him off the board, I think. I don't know.
Maybe they have to vote.
Yeah.
But,
I mean, he's chairman of the board, right? I mean, he's big time.
I think the idea is that they have like 12 different chairmen for the
No,
board.
there's one chairman. There's like different members of the board, but there's always just one chairman, right?
I think that they want
No,
to
I think-
split it up.
Yeah, I think there's multiple chairmen so that they can vote on crap.
The company I work for only has one chairman.
He holds a meeting with himself. All right, what do you think about this? I vote yes. All right. Unanimous.
There's like 7 or 8 members of the board, but only one chairman of the
I
board.
think the president.
No,
I
the
see.
president's a separate dude, like entirely.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah.
So, what interests?
Fun facts.
Fun facts. So, with the vehicle panel gap tolerance thing, is something that interests me because it's if you pay attention to the finer details of things, you'll notice it. Some people don't notice it, and when I first heard about this, I was kind of pissed that I hadn't noticed these things beforehand, and not just with Teslas, but with all cars, because I drive an older car, and it's
It's got some panel gaps.
yeah, it's been in an accident, but
I got some panel gaps on my car.
yeah. So the car that I drive is a BMW, which was maybe considered to be a luxury type car at the time, and so they would be expected to have smaller variances and no panel gaps, and everything would be perfect. So the as opposed to Geo Metro, which probably wouldn't put as much emphasis on the outside panels lining up.
We're talking about even back then it was a difference of like $6,000 to like $15,000.
Yeah,
There's a big difference in price. But here's the thing: is Teslas cost that much. Like they're like on the north end of expensive cars.
Yeah, they're pretty expensive.
So I don't know about this. Is it the tolerances are poor on the Teslas?
Yeah, in the beginning.
In the beginning, so far, like current day Teslas that are coming off the line now, they're totally fine. But like back in 12, 13, 14, 15, when they were first coming out, like those first ones were pretty bad.
It was said that now they're 40% better and in the same range as a Mercedes, a Lexus, a BMW.
Luxury cars. I mean, a Tesla
cars.
is a luxury car as of right now. They don't have their like $30,000 model like perfected yet. So.
Right, the Model S, right? Right.
That's this expensive, nice one.
No, the Model S is the one that's supposed to be mass produced.
Oh,
Right.
That's the one that like it's affordable for everyone. And
Supposed to be.
you can go get your electric car. I mean, if you're going out to pick up a Ford Fusion, why would you do that when you could pick up a Tesla Model S that saves you money and looks better and drives, whatever. I don't know.
All right.
I gotta send a tweet out.
You haven't tweeted yet?
No,
Dude,
not yet.
get your tweet on, man.
All right. Well, we'll segue into the next bit while you tweet. So
Pranks.
Pranks.
That's our main topic for the day. I think.
Yeah,
We're
we're
gonna have some
gonna
fun with this one.
we're gonna talk about good pranks that you should try, and pranks that we've done. Nick, are you good at doing pranks?
I have patience. You know, I think that that's important with pranks, is that you have to find the right time. And you can't give away your secret if you're going to prank. Let's say it takes a lot of planning.
Well,
A lot of really good pranks take a lot of planning.
A lot of planning. Like a
Yeah.
week of conceptualizing.
Sometimes it's even like a lifetime.
Yeah, I feel.
Yep.
You guys are hinting at something.
Yeah. I like long cons.
Long cons are definitely my favorite way to do the pranks.
Yeah, you like over time you drop subtle hints and stuff, or subtle pieces of misinformation that eventually get somebody to think something that isn't true.
Like gullibility? Is that what
Yeah.
you're talking
We're
about?
exploiting gullibility.
So I just want to say that when I first got here, they said that they had a prank in mind for me. So now that
there's not a prank in mind for you. The prank has happened.
oh,
Yeah.
Just haven't realized it.
You just
that
you
makes
just
me
haven't
nervous.
you just haven't had the realization hit you yet.
that's not fair, guys.
Wow.
That's a good prank.
Yeah.
Okay, so one of our friends the other day got their car pranked. And it involves sticky notes and some of the marker pens. Just all harmless stuff. It all gets washed off. But he's a little salty about it.
Oh, is he really? I didn't know that.
He's not been out of shape or anything, but he's salty, and so he's thinking of
Retaliation.
retaliation.
Does he
Okay.
know who did it?
Yeah. Well,
Okay.
they left names.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Oh, for crying out loud.
All right. Well, I know who did it too. So.
Yeah. So
It was my wife and the log.
it's too bad he doesn't have a Twitter.
I
need to
know.
get the log the Twitter.
Well, the log has Twitter.
Does he?
Yeah, you
Oh,
didn't
he
know that?
does.
He follows me.
Oh, I follow him. He follows me too.
Okay. I was gonna say he has Twitter.
I don't know if he follows Lance the Vegan.
That's awesome that we don't have to use his real name because everyone knows him by his nickname. That's
We can just call him the log.
the log. Yep, or Captain's log.
Captain's log. Have you seen that picture of Captain Picard holding a log and it's the Captain's log?
I still haven't tweeted this yet.
Okay. Anyway,
So, pranks.
right. Well, okay. So when I was a kid,
Yeah.
we used to do the classics, like the shaving cream in the hand while somebody's sleeping, and you tickle their nose, and then they wipe it on their face.
Yeah.
And then you
Works especially good on like little kids. Like it messes with their self-esteem a lot. You like stick when they're sleeping, you stick their hand in the warm bowl of water, and it like
Aw.
releases the
I've never had that work.
it releases the bottom half. And
Yeah.
It makes you pee the bed.
yeah. I mean, but they have to be full.
I'm
in
glad
order
I'm
for it
not
to
your
happen.
brother.
It doesn't. Well, I mean, it never really worked on my small brother.
You should tell about the board.
Oh,
with
boy.
your little brother. Well, he knows about it now, so.
Yeah, absolutely. I've told him. So there was this
But he
one
didn't.
time.
What do we call your brother?
My little brother.
Uh,
My little brother. So we lived at a fairly large property. It was about an acre. I mean, we were pouring a patio for the backyard, and in order to get to the backyard with the concrete truck, you had to make a big runway. You couldn't just run the concrete truck straight up.
a
to the
runway
hole.
for the
Yeah.
cement?
So we did like a bunch of sheets of plywood.
Like a luge for it, or a
Yeah,
bobsled track?
something like that. Anyway, it was just a big old like line of 2x4s all the way out to where the cement truck was at, and we had a wheelbarrow going back and forth. But this
Okay.
is like completely after the fact. We still hadn't cleaned up the 2x4s, but the whole thing was poured. And my little brother was running back and forth up and down the sheets of plywood like as fast as he could, like
Okay.
and he's pretty little. I mean, there's probably somewhere in the neighborhood of like 8 to 10 sheets of plywood or sheets of plywood that he's running back and forth. So I'm like standing next to like the 8th one, if there were 10,
Okay.
like pretty close to the end, and he's
Right.
like running as fast as he can. And I like bend down to tie my shoe, and I like lift up the board a little bit, and he trips. And he flies. He's running as fast as he can. He flies literally 2 entire legs It was absolutely great. Like face first, like plows
Nice person.
straight in. It was absolutely wonderful.
What if he like broke his arm? Or
Here's
something?
the thing. So I was like, I don't know, I was probably like 14 or 15 at the time, and he's like 7 years younger than me. You do the math. I don't know what that ends up being. But my mom was standing on the deck, and she saw it, the whole thing. And I like looked over, and I was like, and she laughed.
She gave you like the thumbs up.
No, she just like she couldn't. She wasn't allowed to like
That's
take
awesome.
favoritism in that, but she like she did the laugh, and I never heard about it.
You never got in trouble. For
I never
it.
got in trouble for it.
That's awesome. Yeah. Like
So
I
my
said-
little brother turned out okay. He's a very smart individual. The brain damage didn't hit him hard, so it's a happy ending. So don't worry about that.
Yeah. So when I was a kid, I did the shaving cream in the hand and the Saran wrap over the toilet.
Oh, absolutely, that's a great one. Yeah.
Yeah, you do
Yeah.
Saran wrap and then you can't see it and you sit on it and you poop and it
Yeah.
gets everywhere.
It's hard to get it when they're poop, but I mean it's more common when they take a whiz and
it bounces.
Yeah,
Yeah,
so
it just goes
like women,
everywhere.
right?
It's bad.
Huh?
For women, because if you
Oh, you
were
don't-
lifting the toilet seat up, you would notice Saran wrap.
Unless you're like half awake. We would do it right before everybody went to bed.
And you
In
know,
your own toilet?
like when
Yeah.
we're like when we're young,
then you'd have to clean it up.
our younger days, we were doing LAN parties all the time and everything, and like
Oh,
people would
okay.
stay the night at his place, right? So, like people had like 300 Mountain Dews in their system. They had to take a piss in the middle of the
Right,
night.
okay.
So
Yeah,
that's
yeah.
pretty much just what happened.
It's the best.
Yep.
And yeah, I'd usually have to clean it up, but it was worth it.
To the victor go the spoils.
Yeah.
So you know of the prank where you stand on either side of a street, and when a car's coming, you act like you're pulling like a rope across.
Yeah,
So
I've never
you see
done
the
that, but
YouTube
I'd like
video
to
with
try
the
that.
old folks in like in the car, and they're like passing the dude, so they're like right there, but they're kind of going the same speed. It's like a backcountry road. There's nobody there, and like the dude's like driving normally, and then the lady and the old lady's got the another steering wheel in her hands. She's just driving. So there's like two people with steering wheels in the car.
Okay.
All of a sudden, the lady with like the disconnected steering wheel, it's just free air. She
Right,
goes, takes a hard right, like right into the guy, and the guy just like goes all over the place.
Well, but she doesn't actually turn the car because she just got a
Right?
steering
Yeah,
wheel.
she's just got a steering wheel on top. So-
Freaks him out.
yeah, absolutely. That's a great one.
I want to try the rope one. I've never done that. I've seen it
Or
where they do it
like
across
act
sidewalks.
like you're stepping across,
Oh.
like stepping over something.
Yeah,
Yeah.
like dogs and stuff won't walk there. I've seen stuff like that happen before,
The human brain is a funny thing.
tricking them.
Yeah.
Yeah, and, so the story I heard of kids doing that actually got in trouble with the police.
Oh yeah.
And they were kids, so they got community service
Yeah,
and stuff.
you're
but
fine. Yeah.
They got real mad. So I can't really think of any good pranks that have happened to me. So I
That's
could
gonna
think
change.
I could think of some pranks that I would want to do now in like my current age, like
Yeah, you're a little more mature now.
Yeah.
You have to like, and like bad things can equal like jail time for
right,
a long
right.
time, right?
I'm more mature,
Right,
and I
right.
think my decisions out a little more, and like the consequences and stuff like that.
mhm.
So
So you have to do pranks nowadays. Like now that we're like over the age of 18, we have to do pranks that don't equal jail time.
right,
Yeah.
so
Right.
some ideas that I have is that apparently you can buy 55-gallon drums
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
of lubricant
Yeah.
off of Amazon.
You sure can.
And so I actually heard a story one time of like someone pranked in an apartment complex. Someone pranked somebody and sent them a 55-gallon drum of lube. And their neighbors are like, "What is it? Like a dead body?" Maybe they're watching, a TV show. And they're like, why is there a 55-gallon drum of lubricant? What would you do with that? Like, what if one just showed up at your house? Like,
I don't. Well, I'd wonder what it was first. If there wasn't a label on it, I'd open it and see what it was. If it was just lubricant, I don't know. I'd probably put it on.
you would resell it? Or,
Yeah, Facebook yard sale or something.
So just so you know, so like right now you can get a 55-gallon drum of lubricant for $474 on Amazon Prime.
That's an expensive
Free
prank.
delivery.
Free delivery. Can you UPS that?
Yeah, I mean, it comes. It might come on a freight truck, but it comes.
Let's have a
Well, it
business
will be
address.
coming.
Let's have a business address to accept this.
That's okay. We have business addresses.
So
We're good.
another thing that I thought of that would be really fun
Uh-huh.
would be just to buy bouncy balls, a bulk amount of bouncy balls.
Yeah.
And so you were just on Amazon. You can get 250 of them for $17.
Perfect.
So
That sounds absolutely
glow in the
delightful.
dark. So you like what I'd want to do is I'd want to fill Gabe or the Log's car up with
Bouncy balls.
Yeah, because he just barely left his sunroof open a little bit.
You know, he probably listens to this podcast.
That's the chance I'm gonna take.
Okay. so
We're filling it up with bouncy balls next. All right.
speaking of bouncy
So
balls,
here's
though,
the thing. Like, if you do this, you fill up his car with bouncy balls. How long do you think it's going to take for him to eliminate every last bouncy ball from his
I
car?
think you'd have to get a professional.
You might be right.
take it to the car detailer.
They're going to be like, we found like 42 bouncy balls.
Okay, so speaking of the bulk bouncy balls, when I was like a sophomore or junior in high school, the senior prank was there was an assembly and everybody's in the gym at our high school on the bleachers, and all the
Now, keep in mind, this is a pretty big high school. There's like 2,000 kids that go
That
here.
was your
Like the
graduating class?
graduating class was 500.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So they they got together like a couple nights before, and everybody got like a fistful of bouncy balls and put it in their pockets. The seniors did, and so in the middle, we'd always do this, spirit thing. Freshman power, and they chant, and then the sophomores, and then when it got to the seniors' turns, they all threw these
Did
bouncy
you guys still
balls.
chant or no?
Well, I wasn't a senior. I was like a
Did
sophomore.
they still
junior.
chant?
Yeah.
So they still chanted
Yeah,
while throwing.
and they threw these bouncy balls, and they bounced across the gym to the other side where the bleachers were, and then people were catching them and throwing them back. And the principal came out, and he was just red faced, and got on the mic and was like, "We don't do that here!" And he was just super upset because people were getting hit in the head with these bouncy
I mean,
balls.
come on.
But
Imagine.
it was so spectacular. I was sitting there, and I remember watching them, and it was just all these bouncy balls just bouncing off the gym floor to the other side and then coming back, and it was just so cool.
That sounded
great.
cool too.
Yeah.
So there's the classic. So most schools have a T-bar ceiling in most of the classrooms, right? So you can just throw a fish up there.
Uh,
On the last day of school.
Alright, so I know a prank. Okay, that reminds me of a
I
prank
never did that, I promise.
that was done in grade school
Yeah.
for me, and I wasn't a part of this. But we had a teacher in 4th grade who was a pain in the ass. He
Yeah.
was the worst teacher ever. And one of my
Mr.
classmates,
Hand.
his desk, his chair was right underneath the light,
Mhm.
and so one of my classmates climbed up on his chair and put butter on the light so that would melt onto his his head. And he got pissed because he was like a cowboy, and so he would wear his jackets that he won a rodeo competition and all this really nice fancy shit. And I guess the kid had to reimburse his laundry bill to the dry cleaners because he made a mess. But yeah, it was a good prank.
That's a good
That
one.
is
Yeah.
pretty. That's
Yeah.
pretty clever.
Solid.
That's pretty clever. There was this. There are these guys that I knew, and they worked together in this office, and they started having a prank war back and forth. And the best.
Are there 2 of these guys?
Yeah,
And
and
they
they're
worked on what?
Well, they were both. They worked at a church.
Oh.
And they both were pranking each other back and forth, and they each had their own office. And so they'd go into the other person's office, they'd break into their office and do a prank. And the best one, I think, was one of the guys took a bowl, a big bowl, and cut the bottom out and put it on the guy's desk and filled it with dry beans or rice or something like that. So then, the guy gets in, and there's this big, huge bowl full of beans in the middle of his desk, and he goes, "What is this?" And he lifts it up, and it goes everywhere. I think that was the best one.
That's a really good idea. You
Yeah.
could do that with Skittles,
You could do that
You
at
could do
your
that
work.
with-
jelly beans,
Yeah.
M&Ms, peanuts.
Dude, just do that to your maintenance guy where you work. And just like go to random rooms and like set that up.
Oh, that's so mean.
It would have to be something they didn't want, like a bowl of raisins. No
Yeah.
one wants to eat
Oh, yeah,
raisins.
no
So
one
like,
wants
no,
to
I
eat
don't want
raisins.
this. But if it's a bowl of Skittles, they might not even move it.
Yeah.
They might just eat it.
Sure. Raisins are terrible. Why would you ever put raisins in chocolate chip cookies? That's the worst.
I think that's
possible
good.
Idea.
That's-
No.
No,
No.
it's good.
You're wrong.
Well, maybe you're wrong.
No,
I
I'm not
love
wrong.
oatmeal raisin cookies.
No.
Me
Okay,
too.
man.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Well,
see,
you guys are all you dead to me. You dead to me.
We got some upgrades on the picture. That's cool.
on the oh yeah. Oh, by the way, the stream overlay right there.
Oh, we got an art.
Yeah, see, look, and then we got our Twitter handles down there,
Down below.
and our logo and all the animations at the beginning and the end and stuff was done by our buddy Kus, and you can follow him on Twitter at Kuznetsov, and that's it.
We
Wow,
can
what a
put that
guy.
in the description.
Yeah, we'll put his Twitter handle in.
Can
the
we say where he's from? Because it's really.
I don't
Not
think
from
we
the
can
United
say.
States of America.
I don't think we can say where he's from because I don't know that that's public knowledge.
Oh,
so,
damn. I just like saying where he's from. The
well,
word.
it's cool, but I don't think we can say unless he gives us permission. So.
On to global news.
Anyway,
If you follow him on Twitter, maybe you can ask him permission.
yeah,
There you
he's a really cool guy and does really good work and charges a fair price. So, yeah. Anyway, but back to pranks. So, what
Okay, so let me ask
have
you
you
guys a
have you
question.
pulled any good pranks?
Let me ask you a question.
Okay.
How much money would you be willing to put into a good prank? Like, if we're all pranking something together, like
It
$10,
depends
$5.
on who it is and the situation, really. I mean, sometimes you just get out of hand and it's like,
Uh,
all right,
okay.
$474 for a
Right,
barrel of lube is just what it's going to take.
Like, the barrel of lube split 3 ways. You know, it
Yeah,
makes
it's
it.
not too bad. Yeah.
So I think the most I've ever spent on a prank was probably like $20.
So I've spent $50 on aluminum foil before, so I've got that beat.
Okay, yeah, that was pretty good. I got
Yeah.
pictures of that. I'll have to show you.
Oh,
We,
like going to Safeway and getting, like, the biggest thing of toilet paper you can get?
No, aluminum foil.
Oh, I'm just saying.
Yeah. Oh, sure. Yeah.
We
yeah.
worked with this guy. We'll just call him Sledge,
Yeah.
and that's actually his nickname because of things. And Lance bought all the foil, and we went in, and he was on vacation or
Is
something.
that one roll for 50?
No, it was
No,
several rolls.
Several rolls.
Okay.
Several separate rolls.
And his entire workstation, we wrapped every single little thing in aluminum foil. So his computer
Pens,
monitor, his
individual
pens,
screws.
yeah, like every little tiny thing we wrapped in aluminum foil, and then we wrapped his entire desk and all that stuff. I have pictures. I'll show you sometime.
Mm-hmm.
It's pretty
Did
spectacular.
you guys do, like, shiny side up or shiny side down?
It varied.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Okay.
It was odd. There's a lot of stuff on his desk. It took
Wow.
us a solid day
Mhm.
to do this.
And then he
we
came
got paid
in.
for that. That was amazing.
I know. And then he came in when he got back from vacation. He came in and was like, "What is this?" And then the whole day he spent unwrapping everything.
hmm And he said
It was
it was like
awesome.
Christmas. He loved it. It was great.
It was good. It was good.
Yep.
Well, I got pictures of that
It's
one.
so
I found
bad
it
for
the
the
other day.
environment.
What, aluminum foil?
Yeah.
Oh, well.
We recycled it into the trash.
Good for us. Doing our part.
But there was one time I bought this little potted plant
Oh, this looks
and
good.
a little pot. This is when I lived with him, and over where he lives. And I got Oreos, and I blended up these Oreos. And blended up Oreos looks like potting soil.
Dirt.
Yeah. So
Like good dirt though. It looks
Yeah.
like amazingly good dirt, like the stuff that you like need to pot plants, you know? It's got
Yeah.
like the fertilizer built into it and everything.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
and I potted this plant in this pot with Oreos.
Okay.
And then we had a party for New Year's Eve or something, and people were over, and we were like hanging out, and I had it set up on the island in the kitchen. We were hanging out in the kitchen with just some random people, and I was like having a conversation, and I just randomly like reach over and grab a handful of the
Now,
Oreos.
there's an actual plant in this potted plant.
Right.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. And so it looks like a potted plant.
Yeah.
It looks like dirt.
It looks like dirt. And I just reach over and grab a handful and pop it in my mouth while we're having this conversation. And immediately people are like, "What the
What
crap?
did you just do?"
Yeah, what? And I'm like, "It's good. You want some?" And like, especially this one girl, she was like, "What are you doing? What's wrong?" And then this other girl who knows me pretty well, she kind of caught on and like took some too, and was like, "It's just Oreos, haha," you know. And it was funny. And then we had it.
It caught on. Everybody knew that it was Oreos
Yeah.
after a bit. So
Yeah.
everybody was just eating Oreos out of this potted plant.
And
And
we
we kept refilling it.
Yeah.
It
we
was
had
great.
we had this one friend who would come over all the time.
Oh
hang out,
no.
Right? We had this one friend that would come over and hang out all the time.
Yep.
And he got into the habit of just walking to the kitchen and like grabbing some of the Oreo dirt stuff. And so I refilled it a couple times because I bought a whole pack of Oreos, but it didn't take that many Oreos. So I kept refilling it, and after a few weeks of him coming over several times a week and just like automatically doing that, I switched it out with dirt.
Oh no.
Yeah.
It's like a price to pay for being your friend.
Hey,
I think that's
So was that
that's,
the purpose?
that's top 10
Huh?
right there.
That was the purpose behind the whole thing.
well, okay, no, not initially.
Well, I mean,
So it evolved.
It evolved.
Yeah,
big
so
time.
so initially it was just kind of a joke for when people came over, you know, you take a handful of dirt and people think that you're eating dirt, and that was the joke. And then when I saw my friend, you know, continuously just automatically eating it, I was like, oh, I could do
This gonna be
I
good.
could do so much better. And the suggestion actually came from the girl that I told you about that picked up on it at the party. She's actually the one that suggested it, and I was like, that's genius. And so I did it, and it was great.
That's a really good idea.
It's top of the line right there.
Yeah. Have you pulled any good pranks, Nick? If not, that's okay.
Like I said, once I get older, as I get older, I really think things through a little bit more.
Yeah.
And I guess I've never really tried to prank. I guess I've pranked people, yeah. But I'm more like to just drop things off the roof. I think that's not really a prank.
Off the roof of your workplace?
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
What have you dropped off the roof of your workplace?
Well, I guess I had plans of dropping things off the roof.
So you
of my
haven't
workplace.
actually, per se, dropped anything off the roof.
And just for some context for our listeners,
Allegedly.
he works at the tallest building in town.
Allegedly.
Allegedly
It's
the tallest
allegedly,
building?
Yeah.
It totally is.
I allegedly.
Oh. He may or may not have.
Yeah, so just the things that you could drop off of a really high building. You know, you can drop off bouncy balls. You can make a bouncy ball out of rubber bands, like a rubber band ball.
Absolutely.
You could take like soft butter.
Hypothetically.
Allegedly.
So are you like aiming for individuals at this point, or
No.
are you just going?
That would kill somebody. if a huge chunk of butter hit you out of the sky.
Well,
I don't know that it
I don't
would
know.
kill you.
Oh, okay.
I don't know what's
It probably
hurt.
hurt.
Did
You're talking
Myth-
about like a chunk of butter.
I'm,
No,
I'm
that
pretty
would
sure
be
they did a
expensive.
MythBusters on like dropping a penny off the Empire State Building. It wouldn't actually
It's
kill
fake?
anybody.
It's not real.
No,
No. It wouldn't kill
It
you.
wouldn't kill you.
But
It would hurt.
It would
It would
hurt,
hurt.
you.
Yeah.
Be like getting hit with a big piece of hail or something.
Yeah.
Wow. Yeah, so I really like Amazon because you can find things like 250 bounce balls or those army men with the parachutes. I want to go up to the top of the roof and drop off a whole bunch of army men,
That would be
Off
pretty
the roof.
cool.
That's
or get
good.
a group of people to make paper airplanes
Oh, there you go. Yeah.
and throw them all off.
So I may or may not have thrown a paper airplane off,
Allegedly, yeah.
allegedly,
That's littering.
and it was pretty cool.
Yeah.
Allegedly, hypothetically.
Mhm. I'm pretty good at making paper airplanes. At least I used to be. It's been a while.
Me too.
That was like one of my things back in elementary school. I make-
Do you guys
make some pretty
remember
good-
Scholastic Book Fairs?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
All the time. Yeah.
This is the best day ever.
No kidding. You
I
got to
s-
skip class to go look at a bunch of cool books and stuff.
And, yeah.
They had like weird like toys and stuff in them.
Yeah.
Good stuff.
I got these like spy books. They're like how to be a spy and how to be a detective.
Yeah, I always got like the little machinery ones that had like a little kid in them. It's good stuff.
Yeah,
Like origami and stuff. And
No,
paper
like-
airplanes are the ones I would get.
Oh yeah,
those are
Yeah.
cool too.
I
Yeah.
like the drawing, how to
Captain
draw things.
Underpants.
Yeah.
Oh man, good stuff. Back in the day. All right.
Whenever you see them in town sometimes, and it warms my heart. It
Mhm.
gives me that warm fuzzy feeling.
I do quite a bit of work at schools for my job, and I still see them there every once in a while. Good stuff.
Well, but that's a little off topic. But-
Sure.
Something I do want to say is that, and this is off topic as well, when I answer you, my voice probably changes from the direction it needs to be in.
Yeah, well, we'll practice mic etiquette. Also, your mic should be like here.
Right, like this.
Gotta be eating at that.
Close to your face.
Hello.
Yeah,
You
yeah.
should probably be able to hear me now. Much better quality.
Oh, there's a thingy here too.
Got thingies all over the
Yeah.
place.
And our audio quality will slowly get better as we get better equipment. But we'll mess with that later too. And yeah. So, are there any pranks that you wish you would have taken but never have?
I'm gonna buy bouncy balls. off Amazon.
This is happening. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, but what if the log watches this? What if he's watching right now?
It doesn't matter. It's still gonna happen. It's just what can he do to stop it?
Well, I don't know if the log has a sunroof. That's the idea. And then, let alone putting 250 one at a time through that's some dedication. I guess
I know. Like.
I don't have a reason to prank anyone actually right now. I don't need to prank anyone.
Why would you need a reason?
Well, if I had been pranked, like a prank war.
But
Well,
but
but-
like, where does it start? You have to start it.
Yeah, because I mean, like, Lance and I started it with you, but you don't even realize it yet.
Yeah.
Allegedly.
There's no legend
Don't say
legend about
that.
it.
That's not nice.
Why?
Because what is it? What's the prank?
Well, what if it's a wholesome prank?
I don't want to be a part of this.
Why?
Are my teeth blue?
Your
No.
teeth are now blue.
You can look at the screen if you want. Your teeth aren't blue.
Yeah. Give the camera a big smile. Take a look. You're fine. Look at that. White teeth. You're good.
So, like I said, I like to do long cons
So
and drop.
initiate. You like to initiate the two
The
of
long cons are,
Yeah.
are the top of the line. Yeah, that's what we are normally into now. It's just the long cons.
Right, Lance and I, we once convinced our friend, who, if he's watching this, I don't know that we've even told him yet.
So fasting on Mother's Day.
Yeah, fasting on Mother's Day. We had this roommate. I don't know, what should we call him? Kermer.
Yep.
We'll call him Kermer. Your microphone's falling.
There it goes.
We'll call him Kermer, and he knows who he is.
Yep.
And a lot of other people know who he is.
Mhm.
Anyway, he came in one day, and I don't remember. I think it was one of our other friends said something like, he was like, "Hey, you guys want to go get some food?" And we're like, "No, dude," because it was Mother's Day, and we said, "No, we fast on Mother's Day." And he was like, "What? What?" Yeah,
You don't do that.
to honor our mother and the sacrifice of raising us and stuff, we fast to, it's like a religious reverent thing. And he was like, "What? You guys are crazy." And then it was perfect because we had this other roommate. He wasn't in the room at the time, but then all of a sudden he walks through the front door and Kermer turns to him and he says, "Hey, do you fast on Mother's Day?" And he was like, "Yeah, you don't?" It was perfect.
Did he know?
You didn't have no idea.
No. And I'm pretty sure we never told him. So if he's watching, he's gonna be swearing a whole lot right now because he swears a whole
Damn,
lot.
how many years ago was that?
Well, at least 3.
Yeah,
Three
at
Mother's
least
Day.
at least 3 years ago.
Yeah, Mother's Day's coming right up, right? So
Shoot, yeah, like 12 days.
yeah.
He's the same guy. There's this girl that is like a little sister to me, and so I just tell people that she's my little sister, and it's kind of a joke, but I don't actually have a sister. And I said that to him once, but I forgot to tell him that it was just a joke. And so one day we had been living together for like a year, and he comes up and he punches me and he's like, what the crap, man? You never told me that so-and-so wasn't actually your sister. And I was like, oh yeah, sorry about that.
Whoops, my bad.
Yeah.
That guy took a lot of flack.
So we like to do that kind of stuff. Or for a long time, a girlfriend I had thought I had a sister that was like a terrible person, and that was something that someone else started, but we kept it going.
That's the main thing.
That's
Is
pretty
like if somebody tells somebody something, you just got to keep it going.
Yeah.
If it's not the right thing.
And hopefully, like, your friends are smart enough to like keep it going with you.
Oh yeah.
Oh,
and
yeah.
That's the thing. Is like us two right here. That's exactly what we're good at.
Yeah, and we have smart friends.
Yep.
I don't want you guys to prank me
Why?
because it's not cool, especially a long prank.
Yeah. Why is pranking not cool? We only prank people that we love.
Yeah. Don't just prank random people
you're
on
not-
the street.
My tires aren't gonna fall off my car while I'm driving, are they?
No, okay, okay.
We wouldn't do anything life-threatening either.
So there are certain points where a prank goes too far. So for me, that is if somebody gets hurt or the potential for somebody to get hurt. So like, I don't think I'm never gonna like pretend to break into Lance's house like I'm a robber or something because I know I'm gonna get shot.
Asshole blown so far away.
Yeah.
Oh, that'd be hilarious. No, not really.
So that's like that's too far.
Okay.
At least for Lance. Somebody who I know doesn't own a gun, maybe. But even then, I don't know. That's kind of hardcore, you know?
Supposedly, you can get away with murder within a certain amount of time of waking up in the morning.
I've heard this.
You have?
No, I haven't heard this. Yeah.
Because you're like groggy or something?
Yeah.
Your, like cognitive functions aren't all there.
Yeah.
I don't know. I feel like is it like just considered manslaughter then? Because I mean, if you hit somebody in a car and you're drunk or whatever, and you kill him, that's not murder. It's manslaughter, but you still spend quite a bit of time in jail.
So isn't it that
You murder somebody and you're
right.
drunk. I mean, this is the same thing. You murder somebody and you're waking
Right,
up.
right. So let's pause that for a second. So
Mhm.
doesn't it work that if someone goes to court for something and they win, doesn't that make it a law? Like just because they won that one time, you can make precedent with it.
Well, yeah, if your lawyer's smart, yeah.
You could be like, well, the judge one time this year said yes to this, so you should say yes to this.
Right.
And the
Yeah,
judge
that
has
happens on a semi-regular basis, yeah.
So-
press play then, I guess. I forget what we're talking
Yeah.
about.
Well, when does a prank go too far?
Oh, yeah, so
So if somebody gets hurt or if the law gets involved is too far for me.
Yeah.
fair.
Unless you're friends with the law.
Right, unless you have a buddy that's but what I mean is if you do something
Sure,
illegal and then somebody gets arrested.
Like, if you have a friend that's a cop, you can, like, have that cop, like, pull them over and, like, do a prank on them. That's
yeah,
cool.
yeah, that's
totally
funny.
cool. Yeah.
Yeah. Or just like be like, holy crap, dude, the cops are coming, and then have your buddy that's a cop actually come and like shine their spotlight on you or whatever.
That's good stuff, yeah.
I have a friend
fun, yeah.
who had a megaphone, like a
Yeah.
megaphone used in big crowds,
Mhm.
and it had a siren function on it.
Yeah.
And he pulled people over with it.
I had a cousin that instead of a horn, he had a siren. So, I mean,
Really?
he just didn't have a horn. It was literally a siren. So
Yeah. See, so
that
that's
was illegal. He got pulled over.
that's fine. But if you do something that is illegal for your prank and you get arrested or you get someone arrested, that's not okay.
Oh, yeah. Big time.
But especially when somebody gets hurt or has the potential to get hurt. I hate those pranks where somebody is sleeping and they have all the mouse traps set up next
Or
to their
cupping.
bed. Cupping?
Cupped.
What's that?
What's a cup?
It's like a mouse trap, but it's a cup full of water.
Oh, so,
Oh,
you
no,
just, that's totally fine. Yeah.
That's fine because nobody's getting hurt.
right.
So, but when you tripped your brother,
Yeah.
he got hurt.
He was like 8 years old. They bounce when they're 8.
I don't. Well, I mean, tomato, tomato. You hurt him.
Well,
So I think you're allowed to hurt people a little bit. Like a mouse trap is
Okay.
okay. It's not
I
gonna,
don't know.
It will not permanently scar you.
Not like 200 mouse traps though. Like one mouse trap.
yeah.
I think mouse traps are okay for pranking. It
Well,
has
so
to
are
be-
cups of water.
No burning, because that leaves a scar. But,
No burning.
But someone might argue that like, oh, you cut my house, and now my house.
Okay, how
flooded,
about this?
And
Like,
you have to pay for the damages. Like steam my carpet now because you cut my house.
Well, okay, but you have to be reasonable. So maybe
there's a strategy to uncupping.
What is it?
you gotta drink it all. You have to drink a path.
Okay, that's
It might
fair.
involve some help too. I mean, you can call your buddy. You can call a friend for those
What
ones
if
too.
you could?
If you get cupped in sometime, you can call me and I will come help you.
Yeah, we can uncup.
can-
And I'll be
That's-
laughing the whole time.
Yep.
No, you can grab
Absolutely.
snowshoes and walk on it.
Oh, I don't know about that. You'll end up crushing them.
Yeah, the red solo cups, man. That's
Well, if there's enough cups underneath, distributing the weight.
Yeah,
red solo
maybe.
cups
I don't know.
distributing 200
Or
pounds.
well,
I
usually
don't know,
use
man.
the little like Dixie cups. This is what
Oh,
you-
that's even worse. Yeah.
So I looked up some pictures, and there's a lot of people that spend a lot of time cupping, and it's like perfect. Like, how do they do it? It's like, how do
It
they
just
have
involves a
lasers?
lot of time.
Or
Yeah.
strings.
Forking is a good one.
Forking someone's yard.
Yeah, forking somebody's yard is a good one.
Yeah.
Because, that's harmless.
Yeah.
But it's
They can't mow their yard until they've got it taken care of.
I think pranks that take a lot of effort are the ones that I like the best because you know that they spent a lot of time thinking and planning and actually executing.
Or thinking about you while they were doing the prank.
So okay, how about like psychological prank? When is a psychological prank going too far?
If you're, I don't know.
Is it even possible?
But that's kind of like when you scare somebody. That's a
Well,
psychological prank.
So I used to do those too. There was
like
some.
you walk up behind someone and go, ah.
Yeah, I guess it depends. So, like, my wife absolutely hates being scared, and so I don't because I want to respect that about her. But
Well, I feel like she would like judo chop you or something.
Well,
or anybody, not
yeah,
just you.
Right. But I don't think that part necessarily negates
Okay.
it. It's that
You're just being a good husband.
It's that she hates it so much that, like, I've accidentally scared her before, and like she was just, like, "Whoa, why did you scare me?" And I was like, "I'm sorry, I didn't mean to. I thought you
Probably
knew I was
shouldn't
right
tell me
there."
that.
Huh?
Probably shouldn't tell me that. Because I work with her.
Well, don't scare her. Oh, she will kill you.
Game
And you
over,
know
man.
that that's possible.
For her to kill me, yeah.
Yeah. See? So,
And she's my boss.
yeah.
Ooh.
Be like scrubbing the set of a salamander for a week.
Yeah. Or worse.
It's less than optimal.
But
Or worse.
or worse. But yeah, I like the psychological. I don't know. I've had some really good plans for some that I haven't executed yet, or
Right.
will never
Like what?
execute. Well, I can't give them all away.
Well, don't you keep track of people's IP addresses in your house?
Well,
That use your internet.
Maybe that was a prank. Maybe I was kidding.
I saw it.
Maybe what you saw wasn't what you thought you saw.
Okay, yeah, that's
Well,
probably
no.
the case.
I mean, I do sometimes for fun, but
I mean,
it's not like
but
constant.
your wireless router automatically. I mean, if you have a new enough one, it already keeps track of everybody that's connected. So you can see the names of the
Ooh.
devices and their IP address.
That brings up something that's off topic. You might know the answer to.
Yeah.
I heard that some routers had like a program in them in the hardware that spies on people.
What do you mean spies on people?
I think what it is like a backdoor for people to get into it.
So pretty much every router has that capability. It's whether it's set up or not, and it's meant for a good purpose. It's
Well,
meant
for-
so that you can.
Troubleshoot, right?
Well, it's meant so that.
Well, it's for remote access.
Right. So let's say you don't know anything about tech,
Oh.
I'm hypothetically, and I set up your router.
Okay, all right.
And I set up your router because I'm a technician, and I set up your Wi-Fi router, and you call me and you say, "Hey, there's something wrong." Instead of me driving out to your house and plugging into your router and connecting to it and checking to see what's wrong, I can connect to it from my office or my house.
Remotely. Through the router?
And
Yeah.
generally, you'd require a username and password to do that, but some people leave that at the default, and then you have an unsecure space.
Right. So that's, it's a feature that's meant for good things, but ends up being used for bad things because people misconfigure it.
Right.
Okay.
So secure your routers, everybody.
So it's true.
Don't let random people just log
Yes,
into it.
but
So
not
when-
to the extent you think, probably.
Okay,
Just
so
by
like-
default, it wouldn't happen.
So what they said was that it was used by Russians to
Well, Russian hackers are in the news way too much.
to mix up the elections.
Do you think the Russian hackers are actually Russian hackers, or are they CIA hackers that are using Russian IP addresses that are pretty easy to spoof?
So yeah, let me tell you something about the whole Russian hacking.
But what country has the
the
best
DNC?
hackers? Because it's a
I
thing.
firmly believe that the United States has the best hackers.
I would
because
say
you haven't heard about them.
I would
Well,
say
is
I,
Anonymous American?
Anonymous is
they're
worldwide.
nationwide.
And just so you know, Anonymous is not a.
a hacker
A hacking group, okay.
You know.
Well, it's a. So anybody can do something and claim that it's anonymous. It's almost a joke.
Yeah.
It's almost a punchline because people who are not a part of that community think that it's this organized
Like
hacker group.
Illuminati sort
Yeah.
of shenanigans. All right.
And
Continue with your story.
it is a group. It's just not like an organized. It's not what you think. Anyway, the Russian hackers, with the whole Russian hacking the DNC thing, that I have a hard time believing that because the reason why they claim whoever did the research on that, they look at a couple things. They look at they look where the malware was compiled and where it was sent from and that sort of thing, and it all points back to Russia and Russian time zones and stuff. But all of that is
Time
super.
zones.
Yeah.
Interesting.
When they compiled it was during a
Busy
during,
time for
during a
Russians.
yeah during like a work day in Russia in that particular time zone. Anyway, and all the language and everything, all the locales are in Russia for the malware and all that sort of thing. So they're
Written
like
in Russian.
yeah they're like
Must be Russian.
it's Russia. But,
So what was it?
well, I don't know.
Nobody knows.
But all of
Wouldn't
that
it
stuff.
be Russians then?
No, because all of that stuff is really easy to spoof. Every time you set up a Linux box, you tell it where you are. And so they could have easily been like, could have been in California and said, haha, you know what, we're going to screw with these people, we're in Russia. And it's actually common practice to spoof that information when you're writing malware because you don't want anybody to know where you're from.
So when
There's these things called VPNs, and that's basically what you would use in that situation. You can make it so
Yeah.
that you look like you're from a different country. You're routing your connection through that country's infrastructure
right.
and then sending it out.
Yes.
You can do that from anywhere, and it's common practice even here in the United States to spoof our addresses to be in a different country so that we can do things like watch like other locales, movies on Netflix and things like that.
And you're going to tell me that Russian hackers are stupider than American hackers to where they can't spoof something as simple as a locale?
If
or
I
if
can
they
spoof
were,
a locale,
or-
I can guarantee a Russian.
I see what
hacker
you're
can
saying.
spoof a
So what
locale.
you're kind of saying is that someone else did it and made it look like it was the Russians.
But
Yeah.
there's no proof.
Right. Well, that's the thing. Is sure it could be Russians, but I'm going to say most likely it's not Russians.
Or if it
Because
was Russians, it may not have been like
I bet
Russians
it
as
was
part
the
of the
CIA.
Russian state.
it could have been the CIA.
Could have been the CIA or NSA or whatever.
It could have been China. Could have been China.
China.
It could have been North Korea. It could have been Germany. It could have been Canada. So it's common
It
practice.
could have been an
to spoof that
individual,
stuff.
not a government group.
Yeah.
Or an
So,
individual.
so you guys think America has the best hacking groups?
I would say so.
Yeah. I don't know.
It's hard to tell, though. I mean,
It's hard to. I guess.
ours are probably the
Why
most
don't
organized.
things get hacked more often?
They do.
Yeah. You just don't know about it.
Why don't they do damage? Like, can't you?
Well,
just-
that's the thing is they don't hack to do damage. They hack to collect information. And they don't want you to know that you're collecting your
So it happens all the
information,
time.
so you can collect
Okay,
more
and
information.
And there's
Right,
and there's
right.
a lot of gray hat and white hat hackers that don't hack for nefarious reasons, but hack for just security research.
yeah, to
and-
test things.
Yeah.
Okay, so why? I guess my mindset is it like this? Not to gather information or to make money off of it, but let's say you wanted to hack your DMV just to like shut or something to shut your city down, or maybe something along those lines.
Okay.
It's like if you hack the DMV.
Well, like hack the power grid because that's possible.
Right. Well, why hasn't someone done it? Because if people want to like do bad things to people, why wouldn't you?
Because I
That'd
think
be easier than
well,
guns.
Well, what's the benefit from doing that? Most hackers, most nefarious like black hat hackers, I would say, would they hack and try to get like your bank account information because they can sell that on the black market for
identity.
money.
information.
Right, and they can sell it on the black market for money and not even be tied to it anymore and make a butt ton of money. Whereas if they mess with the traffic lights or something, all they're going to do is
Hurt people.
Yeah, and they're not
They're
not
not
gaining anything
killers.
from it.
I know,
They're just thieves.
okay, so like maybe post-apocalyptic scenario.
Well, if you wanted to topple a government,
Yeah.
I would have hackers on my side
Yeah.
to do that kind
Well,
of thing.
Why hasn't that been done? Why don't we hear about government offices being hacked? Because people just want to make
Probably
money.
because it's top secret.
Yeah, if a government office does get hacked, you're not going to hear about it because they don't want to let you know that it's happened.
But wouldn't the people want to show off?
Well, and
Not
they
necessarily.
Yeah, and sometimes things
They
get
just
leaked
want
to
money.
WikiLeaks. So like Hillary Clinton's emails, that sort of thing. But that's the thing is, WikiLeaks sometimes has very reliable stuff, and sometimes it has very unreliable stuff. So it's kind of hard. And some people will say, oh well, I did this, and I'm going to release it to whoever. They might have a specific outlet that they want to release it, or some people just do it just for the kicks, and they don't
For
care
fun.
that anybody knows.
Is it like the TV shows?
Not even
No.
a little bit.
It's like code lines.
Not really.
I mean, some of it,
Sometimes.
it depends.
Is it remote access?
A lot of it is.
A lot of it.
So there was a casino that recently got hacked through the thermostat in their water tank in their aquarium.
That was awesome.
That's pretty great.
Because it was smart and hooked to the Wi-Fi?
Yeah, it was smart and hooked to the Wi-Fi, and then that gave them access to the rest
No
of their
one
network.
thought
There was
to
a
secure
vulnerability.
that.
Yeah.
Anyway, but we're like
Oh.
way off topic. Next week we can talk about hacking if you want.
Oh, that'd be great.
That's something that I know a decent amount about, but I don't know that I would call myself an expert.
I was hanging out with a friend today, and he was really prone to do bad things. And I kept having to be like, no, don't do that.
Mhm.
And it just makes me think, like, he's like, man, I remember you used to be like this. Like, prone to be an asshole. Like, to be mean to people. Like, that cut you off in traffic, where you can just not honk at them, or you can honk at them, sort of a thing. And I remember being like, having to have people be like, Nick, that's a bad idea, don't do it, And now things have changed. And that's probably why I haven't really pranked anybody.
Well, but you can prank without being a douche.
Absolutely.
So, like I would call pushing somebody out of bed while they're sleeping onto a bunch of mouse traps, that's a douchebag move. I mean, that just is.
Mm-hmm.
It's good for video views.
Yeah, but I don't know. I've seen some of those videos, and I don't really like them, because I'm just like, that's, I don't know.
That was just straight up mean.
Yeah, that's kind of a douchebag move.
Mm-hmm. You got to do something that, at the end of the day, everybody can laugh about it.
Yeah, that's like, well, there's another one we did to Sledge. The guy that we did the,
The tinfoil.
yeah, where there was this...
That's really awesome.
Mhm.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, and that doesn't hurt anybody.
Right.
Except for
Everybody
maybe
has
the sea turtles.
But
But,
recycling.
yeah, recycling. But that doesn't hurt anybody. It wasn't like we put a mousetrap on his keyboard and blindfolded him, and then he went to type something and broke his finger. I mean, a mousetrap wouldn't break your finger. A rat trap might.
Yeah.
Anyway.
This the cutting the motherboard in half?
Oh no! Oh, that's a good one too. Oh, okay. Well, you can tell that one.
Okay, so this happened to Sledge, our previous work partner. Now we used to be like computer techs, or at least I used to be. Those guys still are. Like fix computers, remove viruses, like fix hardware problems, or hard drives, that kind of thing. So we're good at doing computer stuff. So he was on vacation for like an entire week, and one of his like main customers, she didn't even come in, but we like got a computer and we like wrote up a work order ticket as if it was her, and we took this computer, and it was just a dead one that we had in the back room, and we took the motherboard out, and we literally broke the motherboard in half.
And it's way harder to break a motherboard in half than you might think.
Yeah, you
just saying.
bent it into like a C shape before it snapped. It was pretty nuts. Anyway, so this motherboard's broken in half. Now, here's the thing: is it fit back together almost perfectly. There weren't any pieces that were just like off. So we
Okay.
screwed this thing back into the computer, like completely fine. It was like it looked perfect, like 100% perfect. Everything
Okay.
about the whole thing was. We put like an empty hard drive in there, and we put on the work order ticket that like the computer was dead and she needed all the stuff off the hard drive, like ASAP or something like that when he came back from vacation. So he comes back from vacation and he's like, "Oh no." He plugs the hard drive into another computer to see if he can pull the data off of it, and like obviously it's blank because we'd already formatted it before.
So it didn't turn on.
And yeah, it wouldn't turn on or anything like that. And he's like going to call her and everything, like oh no man, you better like bench test the computer and see if you can get the computer to fire up. And he's like, what do you mean? Why? But anyway, we finally convinced him to do it, and he like pulled the motherboard out, and it was literally came out in 2 pieces, and he's like, whoa! It was a good one. I mean, yeah.
Yeah. And
Solid
it
stuff.
took a lot of convincing for him to take the motherboard out,
Yeah.
but it was good.
Yeah. Not a good prank to do on somebody that like that's their main computer. That's a bad plan. Don't break people's motherboards in half.
Yeah, but there was another one that we did where there was this girl that was just our mutual friend, and one day she brought Lance lunch just because she was a friend and she was nice.
Mm-hmm.
And Paul kind of looked at it and was like kind of skeptical, like, "Hey, are you guys a thing or something?"
Got a
You know?
girlfriend?
Yeah, and Lance was like, "Nah, you know, well, maybe, you know," but no, but they weren't.
Right.
And then, so he tells me about it. I was like, well, we could do something with this. So we talked to this girl, and we're like, okay, so on this day, Lance is going to leave, and then you should bring me lunch. And so that happened. Lance and I are like, okay, we're ready. And then Lance is like, I'm going to go to lunch. And he takes off, right, to go eat lunch. And then this girl comes in and brings me lunch.
Okay.
Right? And then like kind of says a couple flirty comments or whatever and then leaves. And Paul turns to me and says, dude, what's going on? And I was like, what do you mean? He's like, what's going on? Are you like sneaking her into your room in the middle of the night and stuff? And I was like, what? No? And he's like, dude, what's going on? She brought Lance lunch like a couple days ago. And I was like, just don't tell Lance that she came. And he's like, what? And I was like, don't tell Lance that she came. And he was like, okay, I won't tell Lance. And then we were going to take it further. And we were going to have her like bring him lunch. And
And
be
another
like,
coworker too.
yeah, and be like, hey, you know. But it didn't go any further than that.
And then she
but,
moved away.
But I don't think he never told you, right? Until we told him.
He to this
So
day.
he keeps secrets really well.
Yeah,
Yeah,
he did good.
So he's
Yeah, proud of
he's
him.
a good coworker.
Yep.
Yeah.
Good stuff.
Yeah. Well, we're about out of time. And yeah, so next week we're going to talk about hacking then.
Yeah.
Okay.
good.
Okay, we got to remember that.
Yeah.
All right. Thanks for watching the Finished Business Podcast. You want to sign us off, Nick, with your outro?
Yeah. Finished business. The idea is to try and understand something enough to explain it thoroughly. Thanks for listening.
All right.
Have a good day, everyone.